I've got a new series for you guys. It's called How Much to Spend on Your Hummer H2. It's going to be a two-part series. In part one, we're going to discuss how much I spent on my H2. And then in part two, I'm going to discuss with you a formula that I've created for you guys to help you purchase your dream H2. Okay, let's do it. My H2, this is a 2005 yellow H2 adventure package with the wheat interior. That's how the H2 was originally sold back in the day. I bought this H2 for $11K out the door. That includes taxes, titles, and fees. Had a lot of issues right out the gate. Brake line, tie rod, airbag, sensor. That was about $4,000, so at $15K. About a year later, transmission went. I rebuilt the transmission myself, educated myself on how to rebuild a transmission. It's about $4,000. I used tons of high quality Sonex parts, including a 3/4 input drum. We're up to $19K. The rock bars, it's pretty common for these to be missing and or rusted out. That was $1,000, so we're at $20K. This door was vandalized. It was about $300 from what I remember. So we're at 23. I powder coated my H2, de-rusted and powder coated my H2. It's about $700. So we're at 21K. I actually originally installed an AFE exhaust, but it was so loud I had to go out and buy a better exhaust, the correct exhaust. The original exhaust was rusted out on my H2. Stock exhausts are the best exhausts on the H2. With that being said, it was about 1.5K for the Borla exhaust. That takes us to 22.5. The intake, my stock intake was jacked up. It was folded inward along the throttle body. Had to go out and find a new one. Now we're at 22.8. Doors and trim, the interior of my H2, I mean, they were all broken. It was in bad shape. The black interior is the best interior when it comes to the H2s, or best looking, at least in my opinion. With that being said, it's about 2.5K for all the panels. So now we're at 25.3. I got the tune by Black Bear Performance. That takes us to 26K. U-joints, we're at 26,300, so it's about $300. Power steering system. Again, I did that most of the stuff done myself. Power steering system was 500. Now we're at 26.8. The radiator was actually leaking when I got it. I installed that myself, so that took us to 27.1. It's pretty common actually for the headers to be just totally jacked up on these vehicles. My new H2 in the shop, the headers are totally jacked and need replaced. With that being said, headers and cats, I bought high performance catalytic converters. Again, I bought a set of AFE headers, so I really put top of the line stuff inside this H2. It's an absolute monster. That takes us to 29.1. Fuel pump, 29.6. Fluids, we're at 30K. The mirrors, I've talked about this in the past, but these mirrors are the good mirrors. It's $1,000 for a set. Actually, they came scratched. I didn't realize it at the time. I should have returned them. There's a bunch of scratch marks there and some scratch marks there. So definitely you want to check anything that you buy. Make sure that it's not keyed up, scratched, or missing parts. That takes us to 31K. Now there's actually a lot that I did not include in this listing so far. That includes tolls. I spent probably $3,000 on tools, probably about $1,000 for cleaning supplies. I mentioned earlier that I installed the wrong exhaust. That was Yeah, that was a $1,000 lesson. Um, it's just sitting over there, rusting away. Now I did sound deaden my H2 with Resinex, awesome product. I probably spent about 7 G's on sound deadening. Uh, the paint needs to be corrected on this vehicle. I really do need to have a professional fix the paint. A lot of paint chips. It really needs cleaned up when it comes to the paint, guys. I know you guys are watching the video like, dude, what are you talking about? Just take my word for it. I'm slowly learning on how to, work on paint on a vehicle, but again, it's like anything else, guys. You're playing this time game, and anyway, that's probably going to cost me probably about 2 to 3 G's. The upholstery on the interior of the vehicle, I haven't done yet. It needs reupholstered. Now, I worked at an upholstery shop for 10 years. I will do the upholstery myself. I'm going to put some really high quality Italian leather inside my H2. That's going to be about 3K. It's going to be dope when it's completed. It's dope in its current condition. Random parts, it's probably random parts that I bought that were gaskets and spark plugs, stuff like that. Counterfeit parts, so like getting screwed in that section, a couple coil packs. So the more I think about it, there's probably $1,000 right there. So this H2, the current build sits at about $38,000 for this build. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's an incredible experience. And overall, this H2 is in incredible shape. I've really brought it back to life. Just a beautiful piece of artwork. With that being said, I'm at 38K with the sound deadening. And again, a lot of you guys I know aren't going to do some of this stuff, but 38K, I'll get the paint fixed. Probably takes me to, let's say 40K. Upholstery will be 43K. And then I will be installing a new speaker system. It's funny, I'm still on the stock system. You've got 300 square feet of CLD inside the vehicle, but I've got the stock system. So I need to research and find out what type of system upgrade that I should put into this. So all this excitement, guys, what are we at? 40, I don't know. By the whole time the build's done, it's going to be about a 50K build. Now you guys can see on just how incredible it is. I mean, it looks fantastic. When I'm driving down the road, guys, I can't tell you guys how many looks I get. People, their jaws drop at nighttime. I've got LEDs and all of the lights on the roof at nighttime. It's just a beautiful piece of artwork. I call it moving art as of coming down the road. I should mention, actually, now that I think about the rims, those rims they're pretty jacked up. Those rims do need to be replaced. See, again, that's down the line. I do like the original look of the OEM rims, just because it gives that Tonka toy look. So, with that being said, as you're reviewing these numbers, my build of my H2, a lot of you are going to be thinking, well, how much of this is necessary? For me, you get your H2. I would say a good number is $10,000, to have, when you buy your H2. That's going to be your backup fund. So, or I should say investment fund. You buy the H2 for 15, expect to put in about 10K into it eventually. There's been a few stories that I've read where transmissions go out. You got to understand, these transmissions they're originally designed for about 125,000 miles on average. Now, some people, again, they get 200. Some people get as high as 300. Anything after 125K, I really can't tell you guys, how long the transmission's going to last. If it feels good, if it feels strong, then you've probably got a lot left in the tank. So I'd recommend at least just have 6K on the side for a potential transmission rebuild. If you find one down south that has no rust, a lot of these things that I read off to you guys, you're not going to have to do. Things that I recommend, okay, you buy an H2. All right, let's start with mechanically. Fuel pump, you're likely going to have a weak fuel pump. U-joints, I'd recommend changing all 4 U-joints, okay? You know, my 05, this 05, it didn't have a petcock in the radiator, and plus it was, where am I going with this? It was leaking, so it needed to be replaced. Those radiators are known to fail at 100K. They rust out on the inside. So you definitely want to get the external transmission cooler. There's something I actually forgot, external transmission cooler. With that being said, external transmission cooler, fuel pump, U-joints. It needs a refresh, guys. Spark plugs, gaskets, potentially an upgraded battery. I've got the Odyssey battery, and that's something else. I put a new battery in my H2. I forgot about that. So I'm probably actually closer to 32K now that I think about it. Spark plugs, coil packs, air filter, you know, just cleaning everything, cleaning the mass airflow sensor, cleaning the throttle body, cleaning the throttle body manifold, new headers, potentially new cats, new batteries. So like, you know, there's a few $1,000s right there, guys. So at a minimum, you're looking at probably 3K, 3 to 4K, 3 to 5K. You know, if you get one, good owner, it's from Texas or Florida, no rust, good mirrors on it. So, you know, take my video as, you know, lessons to what you guys are getting yourself into, because I see guys out there and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to buy a high mileage H2 for 10 grand. And then boom, things just start going south real quick. Transmission fails. You know, brake lines are known to rust out on these vehicles. You know, you could see based on the numbers that I've given you, you got to keep in mind too, guys, all the work that I listed, the only thing I've ever had a mechanic do on this was the brake line and the tie rod. I don't have an environment to work on. All right, guys, my environment consists of like working on rocks, stones, you know, putting a piece of cardboard down. I am like, you know, like a real life example of what it's like, real life environment. A lot of these guys you see on YouTube, they're working in environments where they have $10,000 lifts. They've got every tool imaginable to man. They have, you know, a technical degree in working on automobiles. So something to keep in mind. If you made it this far, what I recommend doing is I'd actually watch this video twice, go through, write down the numbers so you can calculate, okay, I buy an H2 for, let's say, 15K, the brake line's good, transmission's good, okay, it needs rock bars. And just start calculating what you think is going to need to be done on the H2 that you're wanting to buy, and therefore you can get an idea. For example, H2, let's say 15K, okay, everything's good, rock bars, we're at 16. Okay, powder coating, we'll say, you know, whatever, we'll round up to $1,000. We'll make it, you know, there's 17,000. The exhaust is all good. Okay, headers, we're at 18,000. Tune, okay, we're at 18,500. U-joints, fuel pump, okay, we're at 19,500. Radiator, now we're at 20K. So there's 5K right there that I just ripped off to you guys. And I gotta say, once you get everything cleaned up on your H2, and you do get that tune by Black Bear Performance, it's just gonna bring your H2 to life. I can't tell you guys the difference. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. When I bought my H2, I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. Bump stops, there's something else nobody talks about. I forgot about those. When I started on my H2, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was running good. Now it's like, it was probably at like a 2 out of 10 when I bought it. Probably 2 or 3. Those are the numbers coming to mind. If somebody said, what was your H2, like the condition, I'd say probably 2 or 3 out of 10. Now, I mean, it's pretty close to 10 out of 10, guys. The build is finally coming together. You know, I painted all the trim. All the trim came off the vehicle, cleaning the vehicle. And I mean, what a just amazing, you know, piece of artwork.